What is going on, everybody? Thank you guys for joining my stream. Glad to have you all here. What up, what up, what up? Thank you guys for joining. I know we're all excited for this day. This is the watch party for obviously one of the most well-known companies out there, Blackmagic. Blackmagic's about to do a product update, and I am super excited about it. So definitely, we're doing a little pregame, so to just get here. So if you guys are in here, first of all, let's just make sure sound is okay. If you guys could just let me know how sound is doing, and making sure sound is okay, that would be great. And also let me know where you're coming from. Also let you know in chat, let your presence be known here. And let me know what you guys are excited about. Also, let me know what you're hoping that we've been out. Obviously, we know what the main thing we want to know about. We want to know about the cameras. We want to know that there's supposedly there's a camera update. There's going to be some post-production and some other announcements. But obviously, we all know what we're here for. We're here for the camera. So if you leave a comment, leave something in chat of what you are hoping and looking for. I know there's been rumors all over. I've been hearing tons and tons of things. I think obviously I made a video that, the rumor is that the new camera is going to be part of a greater announcement that Blackmagic will be joining the L-Mount Alliance. So with Panasonic, DJI, Sigma, and Leica. So if hopefully that will be true, because that possibly means that there will also be a full frame camera. But as we talked about, that the rumor that a lot of it came, credit where credit is due, a lot of this came from Andrea, another fellow YouTuber, that this was actually going to be more working with a Super 35 sensor, very similar to the one that's in the Pocket 6K. We shall see. But I've also heard that it's from other people and other sources. By the way, none of the sources that I've heard this from is Blackmagic itself. My contacts at Blackmagic have pretty much been tight-lipped, which they've always been. It's always just waiting to come and be here. So, but the other things that I've heard about is that there is going to potentially be a full-frame camera coming. But we shall see. Who knows? So let's see here. But let's go in here real quick and let us chat and see how we're doing here. So I got a couple people. I got Vikesh. What up? How's it going? How's it going, Vikesh? Thank you so much, man, for joining. We got Ole here. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Just give me with the "you got this" emoji. Appreciate that. I'm sorry it's not showing up properly here. Flip, thank you. Flip Michael, thank you, man. Sounds great. Perfect. Good. Everybody's saying sound is good. All right. So let's see here. We got Dragia. Thank you for joining. Apologies if I say that. No culture. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Mata Cincy? Apologies if I'm butchering your name. But any predictions on the name of the camera? Blackmagic Square One. Honestly, like I said, I have no idea what the name of the camera is going to be. I don't even know what the camera is going to be. We know that there is going to be a camera update, because at least what the I guess they could put this out there because I got the email for this, but the email that I got from Blackmagic was that there is going to be a camera update, broadcast, and post-production update announcements coming with this stream. So that's the thing. The assumption, of course, is that there's going to be a new camera, if there's going to be a camera update. Now, could be wrong. Again, we could, but I think it's been long in tooth, and I know for a fact Blackmagic is well aware of the request a lot of their longtime supporters and users have been asking for in terms of a camera. So and at the time it's the day before the first day of IBC opens up, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. But there's no point of the name. Again, the rumors are all over the place. that it could be a camera it could be an L mount camera, but it could just be a camera still using the EF and PL or Micro Four Thirds mount. I would be shocked if it's a Micro Four Thirds camera. But again, you never know with Blackmagic. But short answer is I do not know. I'm interested. So Resolve 19 and a new cam. The other big possibility of the updates that we may be hearing from Blackmagic is that there will be an update to Resolve. I feel like it, again, we may see Resolve 19. So I just feel like since 18.5 only was a relatively big announcement that Blackmagic came out with, 6 months ago with NAB, it would be kind of shocking for me to see them do a Resolve 19, but it's definitely possible. I know there's some things I do wish I would see in Resolve 19. There's some of the things that I was seeing. One of the areas I really would love to see Blackmagic take Resolve is open up their own stock market, kind of like how Adobe does. Because and open that up to their users to sort of that area. That's one area that I definitely would like to see Blackmagic tackle with Resolve. If this is Resolve 19, put in chat, what would you love to see? What would you love to see? So, Jay, a new camera? There is a camera update. That is for sure. Hopefully it is a new camera. I'm getting excited. Y'all can see my face. Y'all can tell that I'm excited. I truly believe it is a camera, but it's not 100%. So I don't want to throw expectations too high. So Flip Michael says maybe Ursa 12K will dual native ISO and a smaller body. So basically you're saying the Ursa 12K sensor and a more smaller body. I think most people say smaller body. We're obviously talking about the box style camera. I think that is definitely a possibility. I think that would definitely be a possibility. I actually got a chance to use the Ursa 12K OLPF last month, actually. Actually, I think it was a month from today, now that I think about it. I did a short film. I'm still in post-productions about it. And I had a blast. I had a blast with that camera. I'm definitely going to put my review out for that camera, but I had a lot of fun with that camera, and I'll just leave it with that. Carlos Quinteros in the channel. Thank you. Hey man, thank you for joining me. MS Rover, hey, thank you for joining. Yeah, so DZ says a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K version 2. That's definitely a possibility. I really hope that if they're coming out with a version 2 of the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, I know a lot of people will be a little bit bummed out because I know a lot of people are looking for 4K. I wouldn't mind. Like, obviously, Micro Four Thirds ain't a big deal. If y'all can tell right now, I brought this up. I got the Panasonic Lumix GH6 right here. And it is my B camera for my Canon C70, and I love this camera. Even though it's a Micro Four Thirds camera, the image out of this is stellar. It's in the body design. I just wish, hopefully, if that is the case of the Pocket, if it is a Pocket 4K, I really hope it's in a more well-designed body. Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 8K says ciao. Okay, all right, yeah, that's a full frame. Okay. Carlos Quintero says, Blackmagic Pocket Cinema that rock this higher 8K S35 because their names get crazy. Oh, you never lie, man. Why you got to go there? But yet, no. The namings are always fun. That's like, I think I said this in one of my more recent videos. I said, you never have to worry about the names of wondering what it is because it tells you in the name. They're very direct with their names, even though it's like crazy long, maybe crazy long or crazy name, but yeah, Fatasa. So a Micro Four Thirds with a face detection autofocus. Do you think Blackmagic would act? I think that's actually a good question to ask. Do you think Blackmagic is going to be putting out a camera that does face detection autofocus. As I flip to here, as we can see, we are about less than 20 minutes away from the start of the stream. I don't know. It's never been in their forte, but hey, it was never that way. It wasn't that way with Red either. And Red has slowly moved that way. And of course, we got to talk about the camera, as of right now, the camera that everybody's talking about from Sony, the Burana, where they have phase detection autofocus in a high-end cinema camera. So, yeah, it's definitely possible. I'm not sure if Blackmagic would ever put that as priority, but given the fact that they are joining the L-mount alliance, they probably maybe could take advantage of the face detection technology that is in Panasonic's cameras, because they'll be part of that L-mount alliance. Who knows? I would like to see Blackmagic move towards that, because I think it's very clear that the industry is moving into all these things that help, especially in this sub $10,000 price point. A lot of people cameras are moving into working with in a solo operated system, or trying to make it as seamless and easy as possible. So, and Blackmagic has always worked in that area. So I could totally see some people say, look, if you want to compete with the rest of the cameras that are coming out, you got to come with face detection autofocus. Maybe, and it may be. So that's definitely an interesting thing, and look past it. All right. McNeil, hey, buddy, what's up, man? Good to see you again. Thank you for joining the channel. The Ursa 12K OLPF is godsend, just needs to change the media storage to CF Express Type B so we can use Q0. Totally agree. I hope if this new camera comes about, I hope they do move to CF Express. I think we finally got a mass adopted media type that is now trajectorying in popularity and use case to what SD cards were for so long. For a long time, we've been trying to find that next one, where if it was CFS 2.0, and then some people went proprietary with CF Express Type A or some other types. But it looks like CF Express Type B is going to be the standard, which is great to have. I totally agree. So it's crazy to have a camera that has recording options that make it very difficult to use the full recording options. But McNeil, your computer must not like you. Your computer must despise you. You want to use Q0 12K resolution? I thought the 8K, because I personally thought the 8K was good enough for me. Let's see here. We got Tariq sending, hey, from Dubai. Thank you, man. Thank you for, what time is it? I guess it's what, 5-6 hours? It's like 5-6 hours now, possibly. So, I'm guessing you're having a good evening, man. But again, thank you for taking your time for joining here. Flick Michael says GH6 with the 10 to 25 1.7, nice combo for B-cam. Yep, I actually just finished up a real estate video that I was using that 10 to 25 for as a B camera for me when I was doing that real estate video again. And I just did an event, an Indonesian event, with the C70 again, C70 and the GH6 with that lens. It's a great combo lens. Totally agree, man. Filmmakers at large. Hey, thank you for joining, man. Appreciate you joining the stream. I can see a version of the Ursa 12K sensor and a 6K body. Yeah, look, that would definitely be something Blackmagic would do. I will be honest. I hope that's not the case. I think because I know me and quite a lot of people who are Blackmagic users, I think we are ready to move on to a new body for both the pocket camera bodies as well as the Ursa bodies. I think we're all ready to see something new. Will we? Don't know. But that man, I could totally see that happening. Because remember, they make census now. Obviously, with the 12, yeah, they do, but it definitely, I know. Will they? I hope they continue to making their own sensors. I just know the R&D on that is quite high, so hopefully they continue to be successful with that. So ODZ is saying, what if compact camera, a compact that films raw? That would be dope. Define compact camera. Are we talking about like? Because I define compact like I define a mirrorless camera, compact. If you're talking sort of more like, or maybe are you talking something like the original pocket cinema camera? Uh, I don't know if like I think a lot of us have a lot for because I love that camera. I did love that camera, but boy was it. I mean, obviously we got newer technology, but it still was a pain with the size and everything. I don't unless Blackmagic makes extreme leaps in terms of the technology that they put into their cameras. I don't know if the compact body is beneficial to them, given the marketplace right now. I think it would be better suited to build with a solid, good structured body designed for cinema cameras that you can probably get into more, not only solo operators, but in small production teams and small production houses. I think that, but I wouldn't mind seeing a return at some point. But for them to go with like the original pocket cinema camera style, I think that would be cool. But they need to make. I need to see a lot more jumps in technology from them before that. Flip Michael says Philip. Why do I keep calling you? I'm sorry, man. I keep calling you Flip. It's Philip. Philip Michael. Philip Michael. The Burano specs are dope. Yes, they are. Yes, they're actually, there's the Burano to me, and we'll see what happens again in the next, let's see what we got here, 12 and a half minutes. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, for me, the Sony Burano is now the camera for independent filmmakers. Because obviously, given the price point, not everybody's going to probably look at it, but that is such a dope camera, and I totally get why people. I'm excited for that, and I heard, I think it was B&H. I could be wrong, but I think the video on B&H stated that they are going to come with a firmware update on the Burano that will allow open gate recording. When that happens, oh, that camera is going to be even sicker. So Tarek says micro Ursa with new 6K Super 35 sensor, 120 frames, 4K, and maybe autofocus. That's definitely a possibility. Trevor's in the building. What's up? I agree with Drea. I agree with you. Q body. I really hope it's a Q body. That's like, I think a lot of the people that I know that are personal Ursa users, and a lot of other YouTubers, I think we're all agreeing the same that we want to see like we would love to see the Q body. At this point, Blackmagic has so many bases to covered that today's cameras will be something fun for them. They're in position to make a gamble on something. Ooh, good, interesting take, my friend. Interesting take. He expects something unprecedented. But the Burano will win camera of the year. Interesting take. I would love to see if they want to go something fun. It may not be mass appeal, but I love when any company or any entity takes chances to just do something interesting, unique, and fun. So I will look forward to if that's the direction they go. Look, if they go that direction, then no matter what, I'll be like, hey, you trying something different? I'm for it. You know what I'm saying? So we shall see. We shall see. So Carlos is coming in. I don't think Blackmagic can do autofocus because they don't make lenses. That's a. I'm trying to think. So yeah, that's a good take. I'm trying to think. Is there any other? Well, to be fair, Carlos, and I think you would know because I know you're a Red owner. Red Red has phase detection autofocus now in their cameras, and they don't develop lenses. As far as it's, unless I'm mistaken, is there a Red lens that they developed? So it's possible. Look, it's possible, but obviously Red is still quite behind compared to the likes of Canon, the likes of Sony. I would say even now to other cameras like Panasonic. So they still got some ways to go. So yeah, look, if they announce like they're doing some sort of continuous autofocus, because Blackmagic actually does have autofocus in their cameras. They're just single shot autofocus. So it's a point and it'll snap, but it's not continuous. So if they come in and announce that they have like a phase detection continuous autofocus system, I think anybody then going in and trying to compare it to, say, a Sony or a camera, it's going to be setting them up for a failure. Either way, no matter what they announce that they're doing autofocus or not, I think that making the leap like they had from going from no continuous autofocus to try to be a leader, industry leader in continuous autofocus, I think that's a bit of a reach. So I don't expect any like massive industry shift in autofocus announcement from them. But I don't think it's out of the ballpark to say that they can do autofocus because Red doesn't make especially if it's lenses, because Red doesn't make lenses. Again, unless I am missing something, Red doesn't make lenses, and they have phase detection autofocus in their camera. All right, so let's see here. Gary says, do you think it's possible they linked up with Panasonic the way Leica did? Look, could it be? Yeah, but it's definitely possible. I'll just say that. I don't. Anything is possible. Because I know, again, the rumor has been for the longest time that has been passed around that they may be joining the L-mount alliance. So Panasonic and Leica may be sharing their technologies. So can't do that. So back in the day, they made lenses. Okay, so all right, thank you for clearing that up, Carlos. They did make lenses. All right, thank you for clearing that up, man. And then Trevor's confirming, yes, Blackmagic has single point autofocus. He says they can absolutely do autofocus with Micro Four Thirds lenses if they really wanted to. Okay, all right. Kingdom, thank you for joining, man. Why does everyone like cube bodies? They have bad ergonomics. They're necessary and need rigging. Red started everyone down this path. The Epic, but doesn't mean better. And I own a Red. I believe the reason, and please, if for those of you that are in this chat, please comment. Please come in and comment as well. I know for me at least, and for everybody that I talk to that is requesting this, these are people that work in production teams. So with a cube body, you can the whole point of a cube body is that you can, one, it's small enough that you can still put it on a gimbal and properly balance it on something like a gimbal or a Steadicam. So if you want to use them for those type of environments, if you want to put it on, say, an Inspire, that's one part of the reason. So you can strip it down and make it small like that. The other reason is just the fact that cube-style bodies tend to be built to have modularities in things with their I/O ports. And when you're working with a team where you got a first AC, where you have a director and a DP, and you got a client. They all need monitors as well. Having a cube style that has multiple I/O ports, where it's not super big and heavy, it's heavy to carry around, but it's still big enough to where you can work the I/O ports. That's the appeal of it. Like a lot of people like the Ursa. I like the Ursa, the design of the Ursa, but it's to me, it's really designed for that old ENG style where it's like more over the shoulders, where more people would rather have it in a more cube style like the Burano, the Alexa Mini, the Red cameras, because it's still small enough that you can hand hold it, but has weight that you don't get micro jitters like a mirrorless cameras. Most people don't really, that are working professionals, don't want a mirrorless camera like this because it's not designed for a production set versus something like a Red and a Sony and some of the bigger Sony camera and obviously Arri. You get the gist. So that's, at least for me, that's the reason why, where it can still be small enough that you can work it, but it's big enough, but it's still big enough that you can still put some good weight on it. You can build it up and rig it out if you want to. So hopefully that answers it. Trevor says they don't think they're interested in it. Let's see here. Will you change your Confinity fit? Will you change your Confinity for the? Will you change your Confinity for the Sony Burano if the price goes down? I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, Philip. If Sony does put a firmware out and allows OpenGate on the Burano, the price doesn't have to go down. I'll switch from what I wanted with the Confinity for the Burano. It doesn't have to. Going down the price would be just like icing on a cake, but it doesn't have to. It is that close. The only reason I'm still holding on to Confinity is because they have those higher frame rates and that OpenGate capabilities where the Burano doesn't. And for specific things that I want to do, that needs to be possible. Now, there's supposed to be a firmware coming for the Burano that allows you to shoot that. And if they do, game, set, match. I'll go for it. And I'll say that right here, right now. Let's just check in real quick. Let's check in real quick. We are at a 2-minute warning. All right, 2-minute warning before the stream starts. So let's try to let's do a power run through these. I would rather they refine the 6K body and shrink it. Okay, thank you, Kingdom. All right, Jerry says, if Panasonic offers anything new, it's going to be with size. Unlike Leica, Blackmagic doesn't have a Panasonic to revive them with autofocus like Leica is about to. All right. I feel like the original patent for Canon autofocus is up now. Companies can use it to develop theirs. Okay. Filmmakers at a large says, Carlo, what up? Carlos says he likes the Q body. And Angelo says, excited to see the new Blackmagic camera. All right. And look, there's more comments as well, but let's just go ahead and get ready. I'm going to try to plug this in. And I am going to put my headphones on. I might hear an echo myself. So I'll try to put this up here for right. That's not gonna work. So actually, I'm gonna just leave this here. All right, we're less than a minute, so I am going to switch over to the stream there. So let's all just sit together. I'm gonna go quiet, maybe give some commentary through the process, but I am going to go ahead and let's see what we got here.
Hi, I'm Grant from Blackmagic Design, and I wanted to give you an update on what we have for IBC this year. Now, we've got a lot of new products, we've got some new cameras, so there's quite a lot to talk about, so let's get started. Now, first I wanted to talk about routers. We have a new Video Hub router today. It's called Blackmagic Video Hub 80x8012G. Now, it's mounted in the rack right here, so you can see it with the other three models. It's 4 rack units high. I really quite love this design. It's so simple, but it sort of exudes strength, and it feels right for a high-performance router like this. Now, the new model has 80 inputs and 80 outputs, and like the other three models, it's got 12G SDI reclockers. All the connections are 12G SDI, so it does all the SDI rates, and it also means you can use any combination of SDHD and Ultra HD on the same router all at the same time, and the SDI connections automatically switch standards. Now, it has a full master control built into the front panel, so it's so nice to use. It's got the large 5-inch LCD display with both a light and a dark appearance. You can change that, and it's got the large spin knob on the front panel with a mechanical clutch. So the knob stops spinning when you get to the end of the label list, but it also works in the menus when you get to the end of the menus as well. So let me show you. If you follow me over, I'll go over and have a look. So here it is here. And again, like the other models, it's really easy to change sources. We can just move and change sources. So simple, you can hear the clutch there. Plus we can also change from the label display, which we have here, to the video display. So if I go into the menu here and scroll down, and come out of the menu, now it's in the video display, so it'll monitor what's going through the router. Now the labels are displayed along the bottom when it's in the video mode like this, so you still have the labels. We've also added LEDs to the next to the input connectors. I've got a slide for that. I'll just head back to the side. So you can see on the slide there that if you look closely near the connectors, there's a LED for each input, SDI input, and it shows when the input's locked. Now also, while we're looking at the back there, we've got the redundant AC inputs and external reference with a loop out. And also it supports software updates via Ethernet and USB, so you can do them remotely. Plus the software control panel works via Ethernet. And it also works with all the hardware panels as well. Now it supports multiple languages. So now I just want to make a quick comment on repairability. Now this model uses internal SDI interface cards, which means if the connector's damaged, it can be repaired. So if you look on there's a slide there, you can see each horizontal row internally is actually a separate card, and they all plug into an internal backplane. So that makes repair a lot easier because you can change the card out. So I think this is a great new model. Now the new Blackmagic Video 80x8012G we priced at $995, and the prices can vary a bit depending on government duties and taxes. But that's actually lower cost than the Universal Video Hub 72 model, and that was a 3G router, while this is a 12G router. So we expect it to be shipping in around 4 or 5 weeks when we get the components in. And it's such a nice companion to the other models because the design fits in perfectly and makes it part of a great family. I also quite like the spin knob on the front. It's so easy to use. It's such a nice way of routing. Okay, so we now have next thing I want to talk about is an update for the WebPresenter streaming processors. Now this is for both WebPresenter HD and the WebPresenter 4K models. So we've added some new platforms, but the most important update is adding support for the Secure Reliable Transport Protocol, which is SRT streaming protocol. And that's a modern streaming protocol than RTMP, which we've been using. So although SRT streaming to YouTube's currently got limited availability because you can only use SRT with YouTube if you've been invited into the beta program, however, you can switch the protocols, and so we have it in there. We also have YouTube presets for both of those, so you can just select that. Now RTMP is still available for streaming, so that's always there. Now another new feature we've done is we've added support for custom URLs. If the streaming platform uses a specific URL, then you can just enter that in now. We also added new codec support for the WebPresenter 4K model. So we've now got streaming in H.265. This is often called HEVC. And it's a more efficient codec. It's about 40% less data and for the same image quality. So let me show you this. I'll go to the utility just here, so you can have a look down. You can see in the WebPresenter utility. There it is there, and we'll go into the WebPresenter. And you can see the platform menu here. So there's now 2 YouTube settings. You can see them both there. So if you're on the YouTube beta program, you can use this. And SRT uses a passphrase for security. So you can see that there's a passphrase in there now. Now I mentioned you can stream to platforms that use a URL, and Microsoft Teams and Instagram use that, so you can see that there. So now you can use a custom URL. You can see the entry field there for that. There's also some custom URL sections where if you just want to stream to any platform and use a custom URL, then you can do that. So if I go to the bottom there, you can see those.
Now at this.
And we actually have 2 presets for that, so you can see there's both H.264, whoops, wrong menu, and H.265, and you can just enter a URL. So lots of sites needs URLs for streaming, but these new features can be customized in the XML file. So if you're technically minded, you can actually go into the XML file and just customize it. So you can go in and change like the protocol between SRT and RTMP. You can also change the streaming data rates directly. You can change the codecs. You can change to H.264 and H.265 on the WebPresenter 4K model. And lastly, as part of the software update, we also fixed a bug that prevented streaming to devices on different local subnet networks. So that's a nice little bug fix. There's a few little bug fixes like that. So the good news is this update will be free of charge. So the software is called Blackmagic Web Presenter 3.3, and it'll be available to download today. Now the good news is we also have an update for the ATEM streaming bridge, which I'll bring one. I've got one here. So this adds SRT support to it, so you can stream from the Blackmagic Web Presenter to the ATEM streaming bridge. Now SRT means lower latency. It's a more reliable protocol for streaming, and if you're using multiple cameras with multiple streaming bridge, it'll keep the cameras closer in sync. And now the other thing we've done is we've added support for a ULAW codec, an audio codec. Now let me explain how this works. This is for the return audio feed. So the video outputs here, when you stream from a web presenter to the ATEM stream bridge, the video comes out of these connectors here. But if you put a video feed into the SDI input, this is the reference input. It's actually a reference input, but if you put video into this, it'll actually take the audio from that input and feed it back to the web presenter. This could be program audio or talkback audio, and then the audio comes out of the monitoring output on the web presenter. So by using this ULAW codec for that now, we actually have a lot lower data rate back to the web presenter. And the return audio feed is how remote cameras can actually hear talkback from the studio, because this would obviously be in the studio. And we can also send back camera control from the connector back to the web presenter as well when it comes out. So you can control the cameras from the web presenter SDI monitoring output. You can control all the cameras because the camera number is actually set locally on the cameras themselves. Plus there's tally going back through there. So it's a very powerful solution, and it creates a global live production system. Also, we actually fixed a bug in this update we actually recently introduced. Now this caused the monitoring output of the web presenter to be the return audio from here only, not its input audio, which is kind of annoying because it causes problems if people are using the web presenter for normal streaming. So now we've added a new menu to change the monitoring between the SDI input and the remote talkback audio on the web presenter, and that's in the web presenter menu. We also fixed another small bug that could interrupt the audio feedback if the SDI input was plugged in a bunch of times. So it's a good update. There's the small bug fixes that always make their way into these new updates. Now the software will be available free of charge, and it'll be available to download today. Okay, now I want to talk about ATEM control panels. So we recently introduced some larger 2mm panels, and they were received really well, but not everyone has really the space for a 2mm panel because the 2mm panel is deeper. So we thought we'd add some new 1mm models with more buttons. And that allows more input buttons, but they're still small panels, so it's a really good combination. So if you can follow me down, and I'll show you down here, we've got some panels, the new models set up.
Oh, never mind.
So they're based on the larger panel designs, but the new models are called ATEM 1mm Advanced Panel 20 and ATEM 1mm Advanced Panel 30. But they've also got some nice features over the 10 input button. Because they're wider, we can fit a bit more. So they now both control 4MEs, which you can see over here. So he's talking to the 4MEs. So, and they've also got 4 upstream keyers over here, and they've also got 4 downstream keyers. So that's pretty nice. So you can use these panels with really big 4ME switches. So they're really, really nice. So you can see that we can control the buttons, and it's got the nice T-bar, which is really nice. They also support, and they've got the 30 input one down here. And they're tied together, so you can see them both move together. Now they've got multiple language support. You can do updates via USB and Ethernet. And also about repairability, these are the same, they use the same internal PCB modules as the larger panels. So you can actually repair them with the same parts, and you can move the modules around and even swap them if you had a failure. You could move it in an emergency to a different part of the panel. So they're very repairable. Now I think these are great new models. Now the new ATEM 1ME Advanced Panel 20 will be priced at $3,795, and the new ATEM 1ME Advanced Panel 30 down there will be priced at $5,495.
I'm pretty sure, Merrick, that's
we expect them to be shipping in a few weeks' time, and a great addition to the ATEM panels. I really particularly love the 1ME panel, the 20-button one. It's small, but it's extremely powerful, so it's almost like the perfect size. Now, next I wanted to talk about the Blackmagic Studio camera. Now, the original Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K Plus model was actually based on the Pocket camera. We were trying to create an affordable studio camera. So to make it low cost, we actually took the Pocket camera design and put it into a studio camera design, or the Pocket camera electronics and put it in the studio camera design. And this made a really nice low-cost HDMI model. However, we've been reworking on this design. We've been basically redesigning it because we wanted to add SDI connectors, and this would let us work with SDI switches. So we've done that, and we think it's very important because when you buy a camera for HDMI switcher, you really want to be able to use it with a more advanced SDI switcher later. So you can keep using your cameras even as you grow, and I think that's quite important. Okay, so the new model is called Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K Plus G2. It's very similar, but it's got SDI connections added. So let me show you.
These names,
let me just remove this. I'll bring it out. Now it's got all the features of the older model. I'll just grab it. Here it is. So it's got, like I was saying, it's got all the features of the older model, but it's got 12G SDI out and it's got 12G SDI in for the program return. Now the program return does the tally, the camera control, and the talkback. Now you can also use 3.5mm headsets for talkback now because it's got the SDI in, and it also records Blackmagic RAW on USB discs. It works with the focus and zoom demands, so it makes photographic lenses look like, and feel like broadcast lenses. It's really nice. It even supports the REST control protocol if you use a USB to Ethernet adapter, because it doesn't have Ethernet like the Pro models have, but you can still use the camera control. So let me show you how it works. So I'll plug in the 12G SDI. So I've got some 12G SDI connections around here. So I'll swing it around without bumping into my computer. I'll plug in some power. Go up the screw nut. There we go. So now it should be powering up. There we go, turn it on. So there we go. So we've got a picture, it's zoomed in. So it's really nice. Now we have the focus and zoom demands, so I can use photo lenses as broadcast lenses, like I was saying, so I can zoom in. So I've got this beautiful control. I can focus, and I can even turn up the focus peaking a bit more. So I can change that. You can see that there on the side camera. So it's really nice. Just, it's so beautiful. Now with the SDI input, we also have the program return. So if you can get a bit of a shot of that, there's the program return button has now been added to this camera as well. So there you go there. So cool. So that's the switcher output I've got in the rack here. Plus it also works with the tally light. So if I go into the ATEM software control, I'll get rid of this. I'll go to my control, and you can see I can go to, there it is there. And I can also do all the camera adjustments as well. So I've got the ability to do that. Actually, I should switch back to the camera so I can show you as I adjust it. So there it is there. It's really cool. I can also adjust the camera color. And I can reset that. And I can also even adjust things like zoom, all remotely. It's pretty cool. Now the switcher sends all this information to the camera through that SDI program return. So it's really cool. I think this is a really nice upgrade for the model. Now the new Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K Plus G2 will be priced at $1,345. So that's the same price as the old model. Okay. So it's available now. It's a much better model. Okay. It'll actually replace the older model. And it's a great camera for ATEM Mini, but works with all our SDI switches. So it's really, I think it's very nice. But it's not the only studio camera news we have. The micro studio camera's back. Now we couldn't build the old model. We had parts problems, all kinds of parts problems. Oh, so what we've done is we've redesigned it. We've also upgraded it. It was a good opportunity to upgrade it. There was a bunch of things we wanted to add. So let me show you the new model first, and then we can talk about it further. I'll just move that aside and over here. Here it is.
Hey, we got our box, we got our box style.
So it does look similar. It even has the battery backup on the back, and it's got the same MFT lens mount, so you can use the lenses you already own, but it's a much better, has a much better 4K sensor. It's actually got the same color science and sensor as the Studio Camera 4K model, actually as this one. So all the cameras match color really well. But one of the big things we've done is we've used bayonet type mini BNC connectors. They twist and lock on like regular BNC connectors. People kind of hated the old push-on connectors we had because the cables could pop off. But now we've gone to a locking BNC connector. And the big thing though is these connectors handle 12G SDI. So the camera can now do 60 frames a second in Ultra HD. The old model could only do 6G SDI on its connectors, so it was limited to 30 frames a second. So going to 60 frames a second will be fantastic for sports. And of course the camera can be switched to HD rates for HD work. Now the new model has a regular power connector on it, which is simpler. And the USB can actually record Blackmagic RAW to USB discs now. So that's a big update on this camera. In fact, the USB even supports the focus and zoom demands, if you wanted to build some kind of studio camera. And it's even got the REST protocol in there if you use a USB to Ethernet adapter.
Dennis. Give us
So
the
that way you actually have three
camera.
different ways of controlling the camera. You can do it via HDMI when it's connected to an ATEM Mini. You can control it via the SDI program return input when you connect it to an SDI switcher, or via Ethernet when you've used an USB to Ethernet adapter. So the HDMI output has on-screen menus for changing the camera settings, a bit like how the Hyperdeck Shuttle does. And you can use the buttons on the front to set the menus. such as like camera number and other functions like that. So let me plug it in and I'll show you how it works. So I've got some video cables that I can plug in.
GoPro, eat your
We have many
heart
BNC
out.
cables here that plug on, they're quite nice. And I've got a power connection over here, which I'll plug in. I'll screw up the power connection nice and tight. And I can bring it over here. So I'll bring this over this way a bit so I can get a nice shot. So now we're using the camera control via the 12G SDI input, and we've already set it to camera number 2. So I can show you the camera working if I go back to the switcher control over here. So I'll press camera 2, and you can see the tally lights changing. I'll turn the camera around a little bit so you can see it. See there? You can see the camera. There's the camera's tally light. Looks quite nice. Now we can go to the ATEM color correction software and we can do all the color correction stuff. So we've got the iris control there, which is pretty cool. We can also do the color changes. It's got the full color corrector built into it. So I can move all the colors around and do all kinds of really nice color correction. I can also control the zoom. So I can just zoom in. It's really cool. And I can even do the autofocus. There's an autofocus button there and I can control the autofocus. All that's remote. It's basically the same as the bigger camera, it's just without an LCD. So it really means you can place cameras all over the set. It's really small, so it's easy to hide, and you can get some really interesting shots with it. Now, I think this camera will be really popular. The new Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K G2 will be priced at $995, so it's very affordable. But it's a true broadcast quality camera. Actually, it's better because it's got film gamma. So with the built-in color corrector, you get really cinematic looks from this camera. Plus it records Blackmagic RAW to USB discs. I mean, it really is amazing. And now we expect it to be shipping in October, but you can see it's so much better than the older model. So, okay, next we have another new camera. We really love the Pocket Cinema cameras, so I really want to talk about this. They produce amazing images, but we've been thinking about a more powerful model, designed for really high-end film with different features. But the problem is it's a bit confusing to add another model of pocket camera with different features. Because the pocket cameras do so many things. They're digital film cameras, but they also work as studio cameras with the ATEM Minis. They have a lot of features. It makes it a bit hard to sort of change the features because you'd lose some features and add others. So we thought what we'd do is introduce a new model specifically designed for high-end film, and it uses the Pocket Cinema Camera Pro platform, so we can use all the accessories, but it's actually a bit of a different camera. So the new model is actually called Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K. It's the next generation of kind of our original cinema camera in some ways. But it's obviously a lot more modern, but it's spiritually the same. It's designed specifically for high-end digital film. It's a very portable digital film camera, of course. Let me show you. I'll bring it out. Here it is here. There you go. So you can see the platform looks like a Pocket Cinema camera. So you can use all the same battery extender and all the same accessories. If I'll bring out the other camera that we've got rigged up with the Pocket camera accessories. There it is there. So you can see, it's all got the same accessories, but the internal electronics have been completely redesigned. Internally, it's a completely different camera. And so the features are actually quite different. Now, the first big change is the media. This camera uses CF Express, and those cards are super fast, really small, and they're designed for film and video. Express. I can show you the card here. There it is there. So it just goes in the side. It also has an L-mount lens. So it's a very shallow mount, so it's very adaptable. So you can put like EF lenses and PL Cine lenses on and a lot more. You can actually use the EF lenses from your pocket cameras if you've got them. But there's also some incredible lenses for L-mount. So let me show you. So I'll turn on the camera. I'll take off. Yep, yeah, the lens cap is off. Now let's have a look. I'll focus on something. So you can see it's, if you get it over there, it's really cinematic and the pictures are amazing. I'll do a recording. It's pretty cool. It's really nice. And also it works vertically as well, so it switches around to vertical, so you can shoot digital film with vertical, which is pretty cool. So obviously, talking about adapters, there is adapters, so I can show you there's an EF adapter here. I'll take off that. So there's an EF adapter, so we can put that on. I'll take off the L-mount lens.
So Blackmagic has joined the L-mount alliance.
Put the EF adapter on.
It's officially now.
Now the camera's an EF camera, so I can bring out an EF lens. Here's a small one we've got. A little wide angle one. So I can put that on. So So now it's got an EF lens on it. So you can see it's really simple. Hell, that's nice. So you can see we can now frame, we've got a focus. There we go, we've got a nice EF lens on there. And of course you can get other lens adapters, like we've got a PL mount adapter here. So there's a nice big PL adapter. I'll put it on.
That looks
There we
like
go.
a full frame.
And yeah, now I can put on
camera.
big lenses like this, which I won't put on because we're hand holding it.
That doesn't
and
look
so,
super 30.
But you can really rig it in some
That
most
doesn't look
amazing
super
ways
35.
with PL. Now the other big thing about this camera is the image sensor. So the reason the images look a bit different from this sensor is the size. We've got a full frame 6K sensor
It's a
in this
full
camera.
frame.
So it's 3 times bigger than the Super
It's a
35
full frame
sensor
camera.
in the pocket cameras. It's got a 3:2 aspect ratio, so it's has much larger photo sites. And we've also incorporated the latest Blackmagic color science, so it produces some stunning images. So I'll show you if you can. There's a camera over there. If you can just get
Full
a shot down there,
frame,
you can see
3.2.
there's the PL lens with the. So I'll remove the lens mount so you can see it better.
Full frame.
I hate putting lenses
3.2
down
camera.
without lens caps. It
6K.
just feels like the wrong way to treat glass. So you can look down there. I think if you can see a shot down there, you can get the shot of the large sensor. So you can see how nice that looks. So it's a big sensor. I'll turn the camera off. So I'll get rid of all these accessories and lenses. So you can see that the large sensor is full height, so you can use the anamorphic lenses without cropping. So you get the look of anamorphic with the way done properly. Plus the camera has an optical low pass filter installed by default. This is a high-end camera, so having the optical low pass filter installed is really nice. Plus we designed the filter specifically for this sensor.
Yes.
So it's matched to the sensor
OLPF.
perfectly. Now, as far as file formats go, it records recording in Blackmagic RAW with proxy. So you get Blackmagic RAW quality and color science. Plus you can load things like 3D lookup tables, and they're stored in the file, but they're not burned in. So you can disable the 3D LUT and DaVinci later. Gives the colorist a lot of flexibility, so you can turn on and off LUTs because they're not burned in. But the camera also records real-time proxies. So this camera records 2 streams. One is the original full resolution Blackmagic RAW, and the other one's a H.264 file in HD. So you can do things like cloud workflows and remote workflows in DaVinci Resolve without rendering off, needing to render dissolves. Let me show you. So I just recorded a clip before, so I'll take the media card out. I'll bring it over if you can follow me down. I've got a card reader here. I can plug it into the USB. There it is. So I'll get rid of this. You can see the media card here. And you can see there's the Blackmagic RAW file. Also wasn't holding it very steady. And then down inside the folder here, we've got the proxies. You can see we've been using Film Gamma here. So the great thing about the proxies is it means you don't have to render proxies, so you can just start editing immediately, which is really nice.
You can see that's a 3:2 aspect ratio.
It's so nice to have that built into the camera. So one thing now, one of our beta testers did a shoot with the camera, and I'd love to show this to you. And it really demonstrates how nice the image You never do it justice having a camera here in the studio, but going out on a shoot looks incredible. The images from this camera are amazing. And it even has room to grow in the future because we've got space in the camera because we haven't put things like color correctors for live production in it. It's designed specifically for high-end film. So the new Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K will be priced at $2,595.
$2,600.
Again, the prices can vary a bit depending on government duties and taxes.
So
it's just started production now, but it should be available. It's an amazing camera. You know, it's different to the pocket cameras. It's different to a lot of our other cameras. It's very advanced, but it has the benefits of the pocket cinema camera accessories. But it's got the massive image sensor. It's got the optical low-pass filter installed. It's got the faster CF Express media, and it records Blackmagic RAW, and it records proxies. It's just so nice to use, and the pictures look amazing. You know, I think it's going to really help filmmakers on tight budgets. But we thought we could even go further with that. So we've got something quite exciting we've been working on. We wanted to make it even easier for people to create digital film. So we've been working on an app for the iPhone that turns it into a digital film camera. It's called Blackmagic Camera, and it brings the features of our cameras over to the iPhone.
What?
It includes the same user interface as our digital film cameras, but it unlocks all the manual controls. It basically allows you to manually control everything. It's got higher quality recording options, and it transforms the phone into a digital film camera. So let me show you. I'll bring it out. I have an iPhone here. I'll just log into it and launch Blackmagic Camera.
I'm assuming since the 15 was just announced, it should be able to do with the 14.
We're running that now, so this way. Here we go. Actually, I'll show you. There you can see it there. We can get a shot of that. So I'll use the side camera actually because I think you'll get a better shot because we can zoom in on that. We've got a camera just off to the side here. So I don't know if you can see that. There it is there. So you can see we've got all the same settings that we have on our other cameras. You can see along the top there, all the camera settings, and we've got histogram and audio meters down there. You can bring up the audio controls. And time code. So like on our other cameras, you can change some of the settings by pushing them. It's a bit hard to use it this way. I'll turn off the auto. So now I've got the different color temperature settings. You can see that. If you can get a shot of that with the different color temperature settings, you can adjust it manually. But we'll turn it back on auto.
Trevor, you were
so it's just
right.
like other cameras.
There's
also a lot
did
of assist
something
features.
like, hey, let's do something
so you can click on
fun.
the focus assist
You were
tab
right, Trevor.
up there. See if you get a shot of that. You can turn on the zebra. So we've got zebra pattern over the display, and you've got all sorts of other things as well. So I'll turn that back off again. We've got like grids, focus peaking, false color. There's all kinds of stuff in here. It's like basically a lot of things. So we're back on the main screen now. And there's also metadata, so you can tag metadata tag files. That's the button down the bottom there. See, you can see that looks familiar. It's the same metadata screen as our other cameras. Now you can also choose the record format. On modern phones, you can do ProRes and H.265, but it also records real-time proxies. So if I go into the settings tab down there, you can see there's the settings, and I can change the formats there. See, there it is there. You can go through the different settings. I'll go back to the camera. So to record, it's really easy.
Oh, nice.
It adds time code to the file automatically, so you can record, and you can record on the phone or external disks. So let's record, and you can see, now we're recording some of the studio. You can see behind the rack over there.
Oh, you know they did this.
So it's pretty easy. So it's very exciting.
Apple announcing
and also you can rotate the camera vertically, so you can shoot vertical aspect ratios. But we actually have another cool feature called stealth mode, which is currently turned on. Now, to shoot widescreen, you really need to use two hands, which you can see I'm struggling with here. But holding the phone vertically is much easier. But then, of course, the aspect ratio is vertical, and broadcasters don't want vertical aspect ratios. So if you rotate the phone vertically, what we've done is if you rotate the phone vertically, it crops the sensor, and it gives you a horizontal aspect ratio from a vertical phone. So let me show you. So if you can get a shot of that over the side there, I'll rotate the camera, and there it is. See, that's stealth mode. Now it moves everything to the top of the phone because the lower part of the phone is really where you hold it. It's like a handle. But the lower part of the screen is used when you're changing settings. So like, so if I go to those focus settings, see that stuff all comes up down the bottom there, if you can see that. So it's all still there. So no one will know you're shooting professional widescreen video when you're out in a crowd, and I can start recording. There I go, see, now I'm doing a recording. So it's really cool. So it just looks like, you know, you're doing a normal vertical aspect ratio shooting. You can set that in the preferences. If you want normal vertical aspect ratio, you can set it in the preferences. But let's look at some of the other features. So you might have noticed, if you get a bit of a shot there, there's a media tab. Now, this is where the recordings are stored. And yeah, look, the Blackmagic camera app is standalone. You can copy the media with the Files app. You can, on newer phones, you can record to external disks. But Blackmagic camera is a lot more powerful than that. it can connect and upload media directly to Blackmagic Cloud. So it means the phone can shoot and upload clips directly into the DaVinci Resolve bin, and it makes it a truly global post-production workflow. Now, we recently introduced Blackmagic Cloud Server, a project server, which lets you share your project worldwide, or even between different computers that you work with. But now we're going to take that much further because we're going to basically log into Blackmagic Cloud and storage in there. So this phone's already logged into Blackmagic Cloud, so it makes it faster to show you. But let's go to the Media tab, and I'll show you what's in the Media tab. So there you go. You can see the clips I just recorded. But it's better to shoot directly into DaVinci Resolve's project. So let me show you how this works. But before I shoot, let's go over to DaVinci Resolve because we need to create a new project. So I'll pop over to DaVinci. I'll just leave that there for a sec. Let's come over. So I'll open up DaVinci. Now, we have a new project window, a new project window. I'll just call it demo. Now, this new window is for creating new cloud projects. We need to enable remote cameras, and we also so that DaVinci we can load the media directly into DaVinci. So let's do that.
That's a big miss if it doesn't have internal NDs.
Allow remote cameras. Also, we'll select multi-user so multiple people can use the project at the same time, and then we'll press New Project. There we are. So this new project's now been created in a library that has shared users, so other people can get to the media. So let's go back to the phone now, and we'll have a look, and we should see it come up. There it is. So now we've selected that. So the app is logged into Blackmagic Cloud, so you can see the projects, and now we've selected the project. So let's go back to the camera screen, if you can get a view of that. And you can see that the project name is actually above the timecodes. This is how you tell that it's connected to a project. It's actually, the project's listed above the thing, above the timecode. So let's do a recording. I'll move my arms around here, it's a bit horrible. Okay, so there we go. It's pretty cool. Stop that. And now we can go and look at the media in DaVinci Resolve. Actually, no, let's look at the media tab first. Sorry, I forgot to show you this. It's uploading, so you can see it uploading that clip to Blackmagic Cloud. So it's currently uploading the proxy file, which is much faster to upload. So you can see there's a progress bar. There's a little cloud icon in there to show you that it's uploaded. It's uploaded there now. So we'll head across to the DaVinci bin and check it out. So over here on DaVinci, so when recording the first file, it'll automatically create a remote camera folder for you, which it's just done. So you can see the remote camera folder's appeared. And now if we go inside that folder, you can see there's the clip in there. Okay, now we've got the clip there. Now the clip will look offline momentarily while it's downloading, but now the clip's there, let's do an edit with it. So I'll bring it up into the viewer, and I'll just append it to the timeline, and there we are. Now I can, there we go. Now you can see that you can set the camera to upload proxies only, which is what's happened here, or you can upload proxies in original media, but it'll always upload the proxies first. Plus, I can also set DaVinci Resolve to download proxies only as well, which works great if you're operating remotely, or if you're using an iPad, you just want the proxies in that. Plus, you don't have to download your media to the computer because you can download it to network storage, and then you can all just share that on the local network. Any DaVinci system that opens this project will see these clips appear automatically. Plus, if any DaVinci Resolve user adds media to the project, it will automatically sync. So, for example, if someone adds a clip to one of the projects in some location, the clip will come across, everybody gets it. And the clips just appear for everybody. It's all fully automatic. There's really nothing complex you need to do. So let's do another recording and we'll see another clip come in. So we'll do it here. Go back to the camera and we'll do recording. Maybe we'll record the studio camera there. Go into the connectors. That's a bit blurry, I should refocus. There we go. So now that's done. Now we'll go across to the media page. You can see that uploading. But more interestingly, let's move across to DaVinci because we can see it come over. So you can see over here.
Hey, Jason,
and you'll see the clip will now upload.
There's a couple of new cameras.
It's already uploaded and it should appear in the DaVinci bin. There's the offline.
There's a couple studios,
it'll be downloading
and
the
then
content
they
now.
have a full frame L-mount cinema camera.
There it goes. There's the clip. So we'll double click that and we'll add that into the timeline. You can see how, oops, there it is. There's
but this is cool that you can cloud sync directly to Resolve.
Now, if you've got other media on your phone, you can also copy that over. So let's upload the original shots we took before we created the project, because we want to be able to upload that into our new project as well. So I'll show you where that is. So if we go across here, we can say all clips, and you can see the early clips we did. There they are there. So let's load one of those. We can upload that to the cloud. Into demo, and upload. There we go. If we go back to the media tab, you can see that's now uploading. And that'll also go across in the DaVinci bin. Plus, you can also upload clips from the photo album
Jason,
and
it
the photo as
is
well. But
in
let's
the
go across
same
and have a look
pocket
and
cinema camera
you'll see that
style
extra clip come up.
body, but it's a 3.2 full
There it
frame
is. There's the
camera.
offline clip first as it first comes in. That's because the information about the clip comes in before the clip itself, before all the media comes in. There it goes. There's the clip we first took. Now we're recording. There you go. Now, you can even record from multiple phones at the same time. So I have someone with a phone out the front. So let's record together. So when I start recording, let's record on both phones, the phone out the front here and the phone. I'll go back to my camera and I'll go back to the camera screen. And now I'm just to double check, I'll go make sure I'm still in the bin. I've got to still make sure I've reselected the project I want to record into. That would have been bad. All right, so let's go across and start recording on the two phones. So I'll let you know when we're ready to go. I'll record over the back here. Okay, ready? Let's record. So here I am, recording some of the hyperdecks. Going on that. There it is across there. Let's go across to this monitor over here. This is our DaVinci project. It's just a TV of the DaVinci project. I can go down to panel. All right, let's stop. If I go to the media page, you'll see
new
that
full frame camera, it's
recording's uploading.
$2,600.
So what we'll do is we'll want to see both clips appear in the bin. So you can see there it's almost finished uploading. So let's go across the DaVinci bin and have a look. So we've got 3 clips in here at the moment, and we'll wait for the other 2 clips to come in. There they are, both clips have come in at the same time, and they're all both downloading now.
I'm not gonna
There's the
lie,
first clip.
this is cool.
It's
I don't
appeared.
know if I would actually use
like that
this
was the one from my
myself
camera.
personally, but this is pretty cool.
There's the second clip. All right, let's have a look at the first clip. Let's record. There it is, playing. All right, now let's have a look at the second clip that Richard took. It's like a wide shot. Looks cool. Okay, let's append that shot to the timeline. There we are there. So I'll scroll along. You can see that it's the shot we took. It's pretty cool. Now, we can even use the sync bin to edit between the 2 different cameras.
I have a feeling
so what we'll do is I'll turn video
the
only
app
on
is
because
the
we don't
last
want
thing
audio from 2
they're
different
talking
cameras.
about. There's
Then
not
I can
gonna
go
be
into the
any more new
sync bin,
cameras.
which is over here.
I mean, I hope.
Now it'll show
I'm
us
always for more
the
excited.
2
but
clips as they
I
appear
think
in the, against
this
the
is the
timeline.
last thing.
So if I play them, there we go. So now we can see both side by side. That's automatically matching them. So let's do an edit. I want to edit some of this in, so let's find a good spot. The bit where it moves across there. Let's go, we'll pick this, and we'll do a source override edit. And then we'll go back to the timeline. So that's it there. There we go. Now we've done an edit.
Now I ain't gonna lie, time code and time
There you go, because the
syncing
source override
like this,
will automatically get that clip added to the layer above,
being
it
able
matching
to
the time code of the
potentially
timeline. So
sync,
it'll automatically sync all those camera shots up as you put them into the timeline using the source override
I'll
edit,
give my thoughts
which is this one
afterwards.
here.
After.
So you can do multicam on these shots. So imagine if you've got multiple cameras at like a protest march, you can use the sync bin or multicam to get the best view that's, of all the different cameras that are coming in real time. And it's even faster if you're using a speed editor. On the speed editor panel, you just hold down key number 2, which is the second camera, and scroll the dial along. It will just add it into layer 2 on the timeline automatically as you scroll the dial, and it's all in sync. It's really the fastest way to do multicam. The speed editor is fantastic. So I think this is really exciting. It's pretty cool to be able to do multicam like this just from multiple cameras. Now, you might have also noticed when we go back to the phone that there was also a chat tab. So if we look here, there's the chat tab. Now, this phone's connected directly into the DaVinci Resolve tab, So you could have like in the DaVinci Resolve chat, so you can have an editor and a producer working in different parts of buildings and even in different locations, and have multiple cameras on, in the field recording, and you can all chat. So let me show you. So what I'll do is I'll go over and type a message in DaVinci. There's the DaVinci chat down there. Great shot. And then you'll see that come up over on the phone. So you can see it there. And you can also do a reply. So I'll do a reply. There you go, and I've sent that. And it'll appear back on DaVinci. Let's check it out.
I am impressed with their cloud technology. And
it'll appear on all the DaVinci systems, even the iPads. Now, both messages on the same side, because it's actually, I'm sending messages to myself. But if someone else types a message, which we have Richard in front, who can type a message as well, you'll see it's on the other side. So if you could type a message, Richard. There you go. So I think this is very exciting. I think this whole workflow is going to revolutionise post-production. You can use as many cameras as you like. Yeah, broadcasters can edit stories in real time, and they can upload them as the situation changes. I think it'll be pretty cool. Now, the Blackmagic camera iPhone app should be available today. And the best news is it's totally free of charge. So anyone can get digital film using their phone. Now, the Blackmagic cloud storage will also be online today. It's currently in beta as we want to make sure everything's working really well. I expect we'll get some good feedback once people start using it. Now, the DaVinci Resolve project libraries are $5 a month as they are now. And the Blackmagic cloud storage costs are based on the amount of storage you need.
I'm not seeing
We've
it
also
right
chosen
now,
a bit of a different approach to the pricing.
A
lot of cloud sort of products have a per user charge, but they normally sort of trick you into spending, they specify the minimum number of users. So what sounds like, for example, what sounds like $25 a month per user, it's really $125 if the minimum users is 5, which we think is a bit misleading. So what we thought, to keep it simple, we'll just have a single price, host price for the storage. Then you can have as many people as you need. It makes it simple, and you can just share your project with as many people as you need, and there's no extra charges for that. Now, in reality, there's actually a cap on the number of users. It varies as you get more storage, because you've got to do that, otherwise everything goes crazy. Now, the new Blackmagic cloud storage should be online today. The prices are actually listed when you create the storage. It'll tell you what the prices are. However, that's not all we've done. What we've also done is we've added Blackmagic cloud support to the Ursa Broadcast G2. And it includes a new media browser that's in the camera. So let me show you. We'll go across to the Ursa Broadcast here.
I knew it was the Broadcast G2.
So now to save time, it's already logged in. But you can log in manually as well, or you can use the phone to authenticate, because we've got a phone connected for mobile data. Also, this camera's rigged with all the ENG kit. It's got that ENG kit installed, and the phone is mounted on the side here. And then it's plugged into the USB. So anyway, let's check out the new media page. I'll move out of the way so we can get the camera in here. So there it is there. So we can go to the new media page. There it is there. So this is a really nice addition to the camera, because you can scroll and browse media in here. Anyway, let's select the project. So we'll go back in. We need to go to the side tab there. I'll get my head out of the way. We can select the project there. There it is. Now it'll automatically shoot and create proxies. And just like the Blackmagic camera iPhone app, it'll upload the proxies first. So we'll go to the menu here. And you can see that the project name is actually above the timecode. So you can tell which project you're logged into. Okay, now I'm doing a recording. There it is there. So it's pretty nice. Pretty cool. Okay, now I can stop. Anyway, let's go back to the media page. There we can see it uploading. If I get my head out of the way, so you can see, let's close the tab, you can see it uploading there. Now, the camera settings allow upload of proxies only, or you can do proxies in original media. But let's look back at DaVinci Resolve and we'll see the clip coming in. So I'll just close the chat window, and it'll upload into the same bin. There's the clip appeared. Now just waiting for the media upload. There it goes, the clip's arrived. So now we can double click that, add it into the timeline. And there's our edit playing back. And there's our shot from our Ursa broadcast with an amazing lens. So cool. So it's just camera, footage from different cameras coming in. There it is there. So nice. So you can get all this media on the Blackmagic Cloud website as well. It's all there to download because obviously that's the link to all this stuff. It's also the only place you can delete synced media because you don't want camera operators accidentally deleting media. And make sure you don't lose shots that you've got in an edit. Now there's a new storage app on the Blackmagic Cloud. So let me show you. I'll go to Blackmagic Cloud and I'll show you. So if we go back to the computer here and go to the web browser, there's the Blackmagic Cloud site. You can see we've got a few new items added in there. And we can navigate down and click on the storage and go down to here's our project here. So there's a demo project. And we can go into the camera uploads folder and then proxies, because we've only been loading proxies. We haven't got any original media. So there they are there. And you can even click on one and you can download it. There it goes. Now it's downloading the files. So you can just download the media from here, and you can also delete the clips from here. So it's really exciting. Now, I think this workflow will be pretty amazing. You know, imagine shooting on both phones and professional cameras all at the same time with the media all uploading to a broadcaster in real time. Imagine news stories being updated with new shots each time they play. Currently, I noticed a lot of news channels just repeat the storage multiple times, but you could keep adding new shots into those stories and have them updated every time they play. It's pretty cool. Plus, of course, DaVinci Resolve is not only an editor, it's also a color corrector, a visual effects tool, and an audio post-production solution. So all these different skills can all be working together from any point in the world. So it's really very exciting, and everyone gets the same media all at the same time. It's an incredible workflow. Now, as far as availability, this Ursa broadcast software, we're still working on it. Now, we'll be showing it at IBC, but I think it's probably going to be early November when it's available. But we'd like to public beta it sooner than that. Now, it's a very big change to Ursa Broadcast G2, but the software update will be available free of charge to anyone who owns an Ursa Broadcast G2. They'll get the update. And also, you might have been wondering why the new Blackmagic Cinema camera records proxies, and this is why. It means we can actually get this software over to the cinema camera later. But first, we'll perfect it on the Ursa Broadcast G2, and then we'll port the software over to the new Blackmagic Cinema camera so cinematographers can use it as well. Plus, we also want to add Blackmagic Cloud support to the Blackmagic Cloud stores. So you don't need to download the media via the DaVinci system. The Blackmagic Cloud Store can do it. So that's why we call them cloud stores. The idea is to link them into this whole thing. Then everybody can just relink to the media on the local network, and it only needs to be downloaded once and automatically, because the media will download to the cloud store automatically, and it'll save a lot of time. So we've been really working very hard on this. I think it's a really exciting workflow, and I can't really wait to see how it's used. I think there'll be lots of small improvements we can make as we get feedback and talk to people at shows. So that's about it for this update. I hope you can travel to IBC and see all these new products working. It's been very exciting working on all these new technologies. It's a privilege to be able to do it. And I also want to thank everyone at Blackmagic Design. We've worked incredibly hard on these new products and software updates. It's just been really hard work getting all this stuff to work together, much harder than we thought. But it's very exciting. And the fun part's when you see all this working for the first time. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please travel safely if you're heading to IBC. Take care, and bye for now.
All right, that is it. All right, guys, we have, turn that off so we don't get bad. And I'll put this down. So we got quite a bit of new products, a lot of the broadcasting stuff. Like I said, I don't know if Riss is still here, but that SR, I was like, Riss, as soon as I saw the SRT update, I was like, oh, Riss, I know you're gonna love that. I'm gonna love that too. For me, who does do a bit of streaming in the streaming business as well, that's going to be big. But obviously, let's talk about the cameras. And it is, so we got quite a few cameras that they just announced. They, let's go right here. They got the new Micro Studio Camera 4K. They brought this bad boy back. I was thinking, I know me and a few people were like, can you just bring back, hey, let's be clear, hey, we all asked for a box camera. They did give it to us. But this was a camera that came out roughly around the time or a little bit after the original Pocket Cinema camera. It was actually kind of cool because it was like it's the size of a golf ball, but it came with such powerful. It had basically the same image quality as the original Pocket Cinema camera, but it was like the size of a golf ball. It was like a really cool thing. I'm really cool and interested in getting back. I wonder, and I like the fact that it's got SDIs and it's got, I think, 12G SDIs as well. So I'm really excited. I'm actually very cool about this. I don't know if I will get one of these, but I could definitely see this on reality shows. Honestly, this may be because the readout speed on the pocket cameras are not bad. They're not great, but they're solid. They're all right. I can see these for people that may want to use them in relation to GoPro. I can see these definitely in reality shows where you can place them high up in very tight spaces. Now, keep in mind, this is still Micro Four Thirds. I'm really curious to see if this will compete with the likes of the BGH1 for what that one, because they're basically playing the same area as that when it comes to this. But of course, the big one is this guy right here, which is the Blackmagic cinema camera. I'm just going to tell you all right now, I am going to get my hands on it. Sooner or later, I will get my hands on it. So definitely, whenever I get my hands on it, you can definitely make sure to stay subscribed to the channel so you can know exactly when, and I can give you be able to answer any questions you may have regarding the camera. Now, of course, the thing that everybody is talking about is it's the same, and I've been reading the chat the whole time as you guys been going by, and I totally get it. This is still the pocket cinema camera body, which, yeah, I am definitely agreeing with you guys that the body is the thing that I really wish they would have changed. But my guess is that the R&D of completely redesigning the body would put it in a price range that I don't think they feel they wanted to reach. Maybe for me, the way I understand and the way I look at Blackmagic and the way just my interactions and the things I've seen how Blackmagic has worked, they have an idea of a cost and a price in mind, and they want to try to present it as close to that as possible. My guess is if they put money towards building out a whole new camera, that it just maybe in terms of it will cost more than what they maybe wanted to price it at. So that's definitely it. But yeah, I do wish the body was different, but obviously, this is still, there's still some pretty cool features. Obviously, the big thing is that this is a full frame camera. Not only is it a full frame camera, it's a 3.2 full frame camera, and you could actually shoot the full open gate in 12-bit RAW. So I'm going to channel a little bit of my inner Philip Bloom. If y'all remember the video, y'all would know. But this is a video camera that shoots 3.2 open gate, 6K, 12-bit RAW that costs $2,600. This is a video camera that shoots 3.2 full frame open gate, 6K that costs $2,600. It costs $2,600. You know, so, before I forget, let me also just go ahead. I want to see if it's up on B&H just yet. I don't think it has. I don't think it has hit them yet. Actually, nope. It looks like, actually, no. It hasn't. It hasn't hit B&H just yet. So I'm pretty sure in the next couple of hours that's going to get there. And as soon as that comes in there, I'll probably leave it in the description. I'll leave it in the description of the stream, or if I make a shorter cut of this stream and put it here, I'll definitely pre-order so you guys can get it as well. But you know, this is something I've been wanting to. It's like a full frame camera that could give me 12-bit RAW, and at a really affordable price. Now, from what I was reading, you can shoot. It's a weird one. This is kind of a weird thing, but I guess this is the most they could do with their processor. They say you can shoot up to 36 frames per second at full sensor resolution, meaning I'm assuming the full 3.2 open gate. So 6K open gate, you can shoot up to 36 frames a second. Okay. So pretty much you can only shoot 24 or 30 frames. I will be interested to see if anybody shoots that 36. I may look when I get my hands on the camera, I may just try and say, hey, let's see how this looks. And then it says you could use full sensor resolution. So my guessing is you'll shoot 2:39:1 aspect ratio, but you'll be able to shoot that full sensor resolution or at full sensor resolution or 120 frames per second windowed. I'm very curious to see what you can shoot in from that. So you can shoot 3.2 open gate. Let me cut back there. Sorry. You can shoot 3.2 open gate, and it also lets you. So you can also work in the 6.5, which they've had, but now that it's a 3.2 camera, shooting 6.5 gives you a lot more real estate. So all of the options are potentially what you could do with anamorphic lenses is now here, and something you could do. So it is an L mount camera. So let's read this. The Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K features an L mount, an advanced lens mount designed to accommodate full frame sensors while ensuring capability with new and vintage lenses. With large diameter of 51.6 millimeters, the L mount works with the latest full frames, yada, yada, yada. So, obviously full frame. So basically, so it looks like it's going to still have the same 13 stops of dynamic range that they're claiming. So how much of that is actual true dynamic range, we don't know just yet. But it looks like it's going to have the same 13 stops of dynamic range. And it does have a dual native ISO, but I don't know what they said were the two native ISOs just yet. So you can go to DCI P3, convert for that. So here's the dual gain. It says in digital film ISO, yada, 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 yada. So dual native ISO up to 25,600, which they've always. So the first native ISO, okay, here it is. So it's the same. So the first native ISO is 400, like it was before. The second native ISO is 3200, like it was before. So, so it looks like that's pretty much the same. But it will be interesting to see how well the noise will perform now that we're actually in a full frame sensor, and it's also the pixels are now larger as well. So the noise should be much cleaner. So I do believe that it will be closer to that actual 13 stops that they were claiming before, but we shall see. So yeah, we got multiple frame rates resolution. So again, you can shoot. So you can shoot 6K. It says okay, you can shoot stills as well, which I believe they still had that. It's just like a frame grab. So it's not really shooting. It's not really shooting stills. It's just like it's taking a frame grab. You basically could do the same thing. It would probably even be better if you just went into DaVinci Resolve, got the frame you wanted, and just film and grab that frame there. So so let's get back to this. So it says you can do so the full open gate, you can do 36 frames a second, 3.2 open gate. You can shoot 60 frames per second in 2:4:1 aspect ratio and 60 frames per second. So you can shoot the full frame up to 60 frames a second, which, look, this right now is the best. That is of the L mount cameras. All the Panasonic cameras, all the Leica cameras, all the Sigma cameras, that's the best performance in terms of resolution, sensor size, and frame rate options that you can get. Because all the Panasonic camera full frames, they can only do that 60 frames a second in Super 35. This camera will be able to shoot full frame, 60 frames a second at 6K. So there's that. All right. Let's see here. So and then in the and then 2K. So it's a basically, so from what I can tell, it's a lot of the same features, that all the features that were in the original Pocket 6K lineups, outside of course the open gate. That's really the new one here in the synthesize. But a lot of the recording options are pretty much the same. You can shoot 120 frames per second in 2K, but you got to crop into that 2K window. But given now the fact that we're now going to a full frame, if I recall, going to full frame, this is now probably going to be, you'll now be able to do maybe probably close, I guess close to I guess it'll be close to Micro Four, shooting on Micro Four Thirds, but the 4K, hopefully the 120 frame rate options will be more usable. That's still pretty good. So yeah, and then you can shoot the true 6.5 anamorphic in the high resolution, at much higher resolutions. So you can now shoot 4.8K, 24 frames per second. So you'll shoot 6.5 open. You could shoot 120 frames. Yep. Okay. Cool. So body's pretty much the same. A lot of the features they had before. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Same thing. So so it looks like there's only going to be one media card slot. That's interesting. That is very interesting. So only one media card slot. But of course you could go to you can record to SSDs as well. Y'all know how I feel about this. I won't egg it on. It's there, yes, but honestly, just go CF Express. The experience, I assure you, for the most part, will be better. And overall, because you don't need to actually rig the camera up if you don't want to necessarily. You will likely have to because of the body design. But I'll leave it alone. I'll leave SSDs alone. So you get shoot Blackmagic Raw. So you get all the stuff that is. You get this 5-inch LCD monitor. I'm trying to see if there's anything. The Gen 5 color science. Professional connection rigs. So in terms of I/O ports, we got pretty much the same. Full size HDMI, two micro XLR, two mini XLRs, a power port, microphone, headphone jack. So pretty much just doing one more final check in case I'm missing something. Tentacle sync, timecode tentacle sync jammed in. Yeah, that's So yeah, that's it for this camera. So and the price of this is $2,600. So I would love to know. I was reading chat. I know a lot of people were disappointed with that, but for $2,600 for the features that this camera is having, and let's compare this to and look at what it's opening up. Who is this aiming for? Which is clearly in the name, cinema camera. This is aiming for, this is for independent filmmakers. This is for solo filmmakers. For that, what is your thoughts in regard to that? Because in terms of the options that you can record, the big thing obviously being that it's a full frame camera that can shoot open gate 12-bit RAW. But I know I got a lot of chat to go through, so bear with me. But let's just I'm gonna try to go through a lot of these for the next 15-20 minutes, and let's see what we got here. All right, let's see. Dennis Schmidt says open gate up to 36p means it's using the Sony IMX410, which is both great color dynamic range, but also bad choice for rolling shutter. All right. I'm not familiar with that sensor, but Dennis, obviously I know Dennis, you really are keen to the different sensor technology. So yeah, we'll see when I get the camera in, I will definitely see how the rolling shutter performs. Steve says I will be getting the micro for the studio. And it's $300 cheaper. Yeah, honestly, I think the micro I think a lot of people are going to be going for the micro just because of how small it is, and something that you could just put into the studio just as a camera. Like I would, you know what? I know I said I wouldn't get it. I might get it just to have it, like just to have it as an overhead camera that I could just put in, throw up a lens and just shoot down, or just some that I could just again put in the studio. Totally with you on that, Steve. Trevor says, I hope they put a few of the cinema cameras out in the wild so we can see some footage. I can just say, Trevor, yeah, I'm definitely sure they'll put some out in the wild. I'll just say that, and I'm definitely going to do my best to get find some way to get that camera in my hands. Hopefully. Connect the micro. Kingdom says connect the micro, the video assist, and you've got a great remote camera for mounting cameras in cars. Exactly. I said this. I think this is going to be probably a sleeper for a lot of interest ones. Totally with you on that, man. Then it says we'll put it next to the S5X with external B-roll. I'm sure the image will pretty much the same, but smoother thanks to the OLFPF. Yeah, I'm really curious, but it also it's interesting because the fact that you can shoot open gate with this camera, but you won't necessarily. It will be interesting. I don't know if it will be exactly the same. In turn, Dennis, even though it may potentially be the same sensor, but my guess is the fact that their color science, because they're going to integrate their own color science into the image. You could obviously change this, obviously, but it will be interesting to see if it's possible to match up. And in 3 months, they'll release a Pro 6K version. They'll release a Pro 6K version. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I get possibly. I hear you. And it'll be a box. Oh, well, we'll see. I don't know if the box camera is going to come. Simply, I don't know if it's coming because I have this feeling like if they really wanted to do that, because again, they built a whole new lineup. If they really wanted to do that and use a new body, they would have done it with this body. My guess is they're going to keep the 6K. If they come out with a Pro version, I have this feeling they're going to keep the 6K body. Again, my thoughts. Trevor said, okay, what update to a 24K? Okay. Quinford, 13 stops of dynamic range. Come on, man. We got to do better. What's wrong with... So, Q Vision Media, what's wrong with 13 stops of dynamic range? Like, what's wrong with 13 stops of dynamic range? Again, if it's close, if it's actual close to that usable stop, because they were getting like 11 and 11 and a half stops. They were getting about 11 and a half stops in the Super 35 version. If they go to a full frame, hopefully it will be cleaner. And if it is the same sensor that's in the X5 II and the X5 IIX, it will be not too far off from 13 stops. You do realize, man, that most cameras don't even go beyond 13 stops. Like, I think there's only like 7. I don't think there's only like 7 cameras that I can think of who have sensors that go beyond that. Well, maybe 8 now due to the Burano. But most cameras, they're under 13. They're under 13. They don't hit that. Most of the cameras, even the A7S, doesn't go above 13. Even with the noise reduction, it barely hits 13 with its noise reduction built in. I don't think any of the mirrorless Panasonic cameras, they get close. They're like 12.7, but they're not 13. I think only the VariCam hits 13 stops. Really, only, I think, of the sub $10,000 cameras, I think only the Fujifilm X-H2S and the Canon C70, and I guess you can count the C300 Mark III now because you can get it from the 10,000 growlers now. I think those are the only 3 cameras that I can think of that actually have sensors that go over 13 stops. So I've talked about this in my stream, on Tuesday. The numbers on the dynamic range is overrated. Dynamic range is overrated how we view it. It's not about the numbers, it's about the quality of the roll-off to the highlights and to the shadows. And it's also really just more, it's about that smooth grade. You can do 12 stops. You can do 12 stops and still get cinematic looking images. People been shooting on the Blackmagic pocket cameras and been getting great cinematic looking footages forever, and they're nowhere near above 13. So again, the number isn't the number. Don't focus on the number. You should be focusing more on the lighting, on your lighting and your lighting techniques and the glass that you choose. The dynamic range number, all that affects dynamic range more. And plus, NLEs have gotten so good now that you can really clean up a lot of footages and get way more dynamic range that you can fit. So, I'm sorry I went on a rant, but I'm sorry, QVision. The 13 stops is not a big deal. To me, it's just about the quality of those stops. It's not about the number itself. All right, let's see here. G&K Studio says, one thing I will do is trust Blackmagic and Grant Petty. If it's still too costly to redesign, I trust them then. But I am more than willing to pay $1,000 more for a better body. I'm with you. Look, I'm all about quality. If you can go ahead and do that, I'm totally with you, man. Again, I think a lot of us really hope there was a better body, and I would pay an extra $1,000. But again, we don't know the full situation. Again, a lot of stuff got really wonky during the pandemic. So I don't know in terms of costs, in terms of things to make things happen. So, but hopefully someday we will get a big box style. We got a little box today, but hopefully we can get a big box style camera or something of a more design that's better suited for like gimbal works instead of having to try to fit an Ursa onto a gimbal. I have done that. I put it on the Crane 3S. Not the funnest. All right, so Kingdom says you can actually film without spending more money and time adding features back to the camera. I hear you on that, man. Trevor says that body format is what Blackmagic have chosen, and it's not going to change. I believe, unfortunately, I do agree with you, Trevor. I think, like I said, if they were going to really change the body, this new move to the L mount would have been the time to do it. But the fact that they didn't change it tells me they're not going to do that. Sorry. Riz says agreed. $2,600 is a steal. Open the box and put a memory card in and add lens. It's not as simple as that. I can tell you, for all of us that are, I don't know if anybody's responded by that, but I can tell you as a former Blackmagic pocket cinema camera owner, there is a reason why I don't have it anymore. It's because it ain't as simple as throw a memory card in and add a lens. They require serious rigging. The battery life is just horrendous. Even if you get the battery grip, it's still not great. You really have to rig it up. You really have to go with a V-mount setup of some sort. There's a lot of rigging going along, and there's a lot of setup. Is the image worth it? Hell yes. Hell yes. The image, for the price that it's at, the image is worth it. But it's still, but just saying, now you want a camera that is like out of the box, it's just open the box, put a memory card in, and add a lens. You want to know what that camera is? The camera I'm filming on right now, like the Canon C70, that's what that camera is. You literally open the box, put it in, put the battery in, fully charge the battery, put a lens on, put a memory card in, and you can just go and shoot. You can do that with the C70. Hell, I do it with the G8. I do it with the G8-6. But you can't. You cannot just do. But you can't do that with the pocket cinema cameras. You can't do it with the Blackmagic cameras. You really need to rig it out and sort of rig it out how you want to. And with each new body that comes with something different, that also means you have to wait for third-party manufacturers to build rigs up that best suit you. Steve Ho says $2,600 isn't too bad at all. Dennis says 6K 48p 17:9, pretty much the max you can get out of that in 12-bit ADC. Okay, yeah. Steve Ho says, and cheaper CF Express type card. The Pocket line is supposed to be an all-in-one, but it's not. It's not. It may be supposed to be an all-in-one, but it's not. If you try to shoot with it all-in-one as is, you're professionally, it's not a good look. It's not a good look professionally. You have to build it out. You have to rig it out. I don't know of a when I first got the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, I did just use it as is. But that's because there was nothing designed for it yet. I had to wait for everybody to start building stuff and doing that. And I can tell you right now, I would never, ever shoot with it as is. I really would have to rig it out and build it out. And every person that owns a Blackmagic camera, whether if it's the Pocket Cinema line or the Ursa line. In fact, I would say the Ursa is close. The Ursa line is more close to an all-in-one camera, built-out camera than the Pocket line, because you really have to rig it out. But again, it is worth it, but you got to rig it out. McNeil says he's getting it. All right, that's what's up, man. It says it's the same sensor as the Pocket 6K, right? No, it's not. That one was a Super 35 16:9 sensor. This is a full frame 3.2 6K sensor. So it's not the same sensor, G&K, as the previous ones. It has a lot of the same recording options as the previous one, but the sensor itself is not the same. Daddy knows what he's getting for Christmas this year. Yeah, man. I know. I will say this, like, and looking at it compared to other cameras in the L-mount Alliance system, I will say this: this new Cinema Camera 6K, to me, it's leading all of them, because all the other ones you can't record RAW internally in all the other ones. You can't shoot 10-bit. You can't. I don't even think you can shoot 10-bit 422 in any of them in OpenGate. You can shoot OpenGate, but it's 10-bit 420. It's highly compressed. So the fact that I can do 12-bit 444 3.2 OpenGate with usable file sizes, and I'm using a proper professional media with CF Express Type B. Yeah, that to me, of the L-mount cameras that are currently out right now. Now, I will say this. I'll be fair to Panasonic that if you are someone that's really about the compact, hey, I want something compact, I want something to travel, and I'm really, really big on autofocus, because as we saw, there's no continuous autofocus. It's still just the single shot autofocus like it was before. So if you're someone that is just like, I have to use autofocus for my work, totally get it. But for me, autofocus is not that big a deal. Even though I'm using it right now, it's not that big of a deal to me for my line of work compared to having something like this. Dennis says the price is fantastic. Riss says, low key though, I wish they add SDI Mini to the. Yes. Why can't we just get an SDI? Like Riss. And everybody in chat as well. Let me know if you all agree with me. Would you be willing to sacrifice one of those XLR mini ports if you could put an SDI port there instead? Because I will tell you right now, me personally, I don't need the second XLR port. I will be perfectly fine. And this is not the pro version either. So they didn't even put the pro version. So, but for me, I would be very, very willing to give up that additional XLR mini spot port if it meant that I can get a mini SDI port there that can possibly do 12G SDI. If I would give that up in a heartbeat, because to me, then this camera's like in a whole other field on its own, because now you got a camera that has 2 different video sources, which is for someone like me, that is a big deal, because I'm working with first ACs, I'm working with a director, I got clients that I want to send video, I got to send video signals as a DP to, so a second video source out is something, especially something more professional, more secure. I would give it up, but let me know if that was the case. Let's see here. Steve Holtz agrees that it should have had an SDI for faster transmissions. He said, Kingdom says, if they squeezed in an SDI, it would be incredible. Yeah, look, that would, if they put SDI in there, the only thing that would solidify it is if they put built-in NDs. If they have put built-in NDs in there, it would be thing. All right. Is loud and clear. What's up, man? Thank you, Robert. Thanks for joining, man. I don't think I mentioned it before. But is there he says, is there a full, a 6K full width 16:9 or 17:9 at a higher frame rate? Yes. So, so it looks like you can shoot the 16:9 and 17:9 at 60 frames a second. You can't do it in the open gate, but you can do it in the, I guess it would be 16:9 or 17:9 aspect ratio. And then if you're shooting, or if you're shooting at the 2:3:1 aspect ratio. Actually at the 2:3:1 aspect ratio, you can shoot, at 2:3:1 you can shoot 60 frames. I think it's only up, I think Dennis said it's only up to 48 frames. But you can shoot higher frame rates in those aspect ratios, just not in the open gate. So, so it's about, so he said 11, 12 stops without highlight recovery. Okay. Gene Case 3.2 full sensor. Jason's asking, does it have built-in NDs? No, it does not. Again, damn near would be perfect if it had built-in NDs. If it had built-in NDs, that would be doing. Trevor says someone will do a dynamic range test. Blackmagic doesn't usually oversell, at least not in my experience. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mentioned that before. Let's see here. Dennis says they did with the 6K, Pocket 6K, and especially 4K, the IMX 410 and HR highlight recovery may actually achieve full 13 stops now, like it does on the S52X in B-RAW in HR. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely, we'll see. We shall see. Again, it's not about necessarily about the numbers. It's more so about how well does it perform. Then it says, I was asking Panasonic to enable these 6K 17:9 48 6K 241 60 modes, but still nothing yet. Yeah, yes. You know me too well. Yes, Vrish, you know me too well. Dennis pretty much has it right there. CF Express is superior, and it is. And honestly, as much people may complain about pricing of these higher end media cards, when you actually factor in what you have to do to get SD cards to be properly secured and get the proper cables, you actually end up spending the same, if not more, on SSDs. Even though the SSDs may be cheaper, but to get it working properly, you're going to spend about the same, if not more. So there's that. DNK, yeah, I only said this new cam is bad with rigging. Other than that, this camera is amazing. But for many Blackmagic shooters, this camera is a disappointment. Uh, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the YouTube platform responds, but also how I know how a few Blackmagic owners are going to respond to this, and I think it's going to be a mix. I think it's going to be a mix. All right. Q Vision says, "Well, I guess I should go ahead and buy the 12K. Really wanted a more pro cinema camera. Yeah, if you want the absolute pro cinema camera, man, definitely go with the 12K. If you want to stick within that Blackmagic ecosystem, one, you're going to work with PL. Look, working with, you'll get more. I know, at least for me, if you're looking to be, especially on the DP and the more narrative and the more, if you really want to work on the pro cinema side, you'll get a lot more notice if you start working with PL glass and working with those type of glass anyway. And the 12K is going to definitely go in your favor, from my experience personally. McNeil says, "Why no ND filters?" My guess is how they designed the mount, how they designed the body and the mounts. There wasn't enough space. If I really had to take a guess, it's that they didn't have the space. I could be wrong, but if I had to take a guess with the L mounts, because this is their first time working with the L mount, my guess is if they had the L mount and the space, it just wasn't enough. So that's my thought. I'm surprised this thing didn't come up with a pop-up flash. Again, I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke, but it's a cinema camera. Who is making what they're asking for without losing features? It's a good. That's a good question, man. Ernie Boy 54 says, "I prefer something more in the box shape, easier to rig. Also want a Newport design for cables and connections." Again, I totally, again, I think that's going to be the thing right here. It's like everybody's been waiting for that box camera. It's not, and obviously this is not it. I was hoping for, again, 12 GS for 12 SDI ports. Yeah, and also if I remember correctly, yeah, G&K. If I also remember G&K, the Ursa 12K, the price of those dropped recently. Yeah, it has. So the Ursa 12K, the original one is now down to just under $4,900 right now. The OLPF version is $5,200. So the 12K. It's funny how they put the 12K is just it's just double the price of the new 6K. The only thing I will tell you in terms of the 12K is just to be mindful of is that because it's so much resolution compact to a Super 35 sensor, you do run the risk of going to diffraction sooner. So if you like shooting at, like, say, a T8 and above, you might want to pause for a second, because once you hit like 5, 6, typically diffractions may start to kick in. T8 diffraction does really start kicking in, so it's something to be aware of when you're working with the 12K. So let's see here. Dennis talking about the rolling shutter again, but saying it's going to be like any other IMX 410 base camera, pretty bad, but great colors and dynamic range. All right. I don't know if for high-end production cameras, yes, the Komodo X is not an A camera. For those, it's going to be the Raptor, and it's going to be the Raptor XL. Yes. But for a lot of solo shooters, I disagree with you in terms of, again, who are you asking? For a lot of solo shooters, the Komodo X is an A cam, and it's a stack. It's a really good powerhouse A cam for a lot of people. For a lot of people, it will be their A cam. For like Hollywood, no, probably not. But it's for a lot of people, I think it will be. All right, let's see here. The puns. The puns, man. The puns. The puns. Uh, yeah, I'll let you guys talk about that. But yeah, I'm with you, Loud. The Komodo X is an A camera. It just depends on who are you asking. Ursa G2 owners are so confused right now. To me, it's like I will say this: if you work, I don't know how Ursa G2 owners will be, because I will say this: you're still, in terms of ergos, you're still getting a better deal. You're still getting a better deal out of Ursa Mini Pro G2. To me personally, you're getting a better deal with that than even this. It's really more of, do you want the full frame? Because that's really the thing. Do you want the full frame, and you want the 3.2 recording options? Shadman, we answered that there is no internal NDs. Let's see here. Oh, Jesse is showing in. What's up, man? Camera is a slap in the face, in my opinion. Really outdated. Okay. You wanna? I would love to hear I would love to hear why you feel that way, man. But why you feel it's a slap in the face? Not trying to denigrate or anything. I'm really am curious, because I would love to know. I want people's thoughts on it. Pay $1,500 more and get a Infinity Mavic S35 Mark II. Yeah, that is true. That is definitely true. But no. So that's not exactly true. In terms of the body, yes, you can pay $1,500 more, but the necessary things you need to get a Confinity up and running properly. I think I did this, even though it's $4,000 for the Mavic Mark II. You're going to spend about $8 grand to really get it up and running properly. One, that camera drains through batteries. It does. It drains through batteries, and you truly do need like V-mount batteries. I'm talking like 150 watt-hour V-mount batteries in order for that camera, because it does go through them. So you need batteries. You need either the proprietary SSDs that they have, or even if you were to get yours off the shelf, you still got to get the shelf for that. You got to get that. You got to get a monitor, and most likely you want the Infinity monitor, because there's certain features that you won't get access to without the Kini monitor, and those ain't cheap either. So like I said, it adds up really, really quickly. There's a lot more proprietary use. By the way, now I haven't used the S35 Mark II. I use the Edge 6K. And also the Mavic S Mark II doesn't have built-in ND, doesn't have the electronic NDs filters, which to me, I don't know if I could do that. But I use the Edge 6K, but they have the same body. I love the image is still fantastic out of those cameras, and the modularity again is there. But also you have to pay for the mount. The mount does not come with the Infinity camera. You actually have to buy the mount separately, kind of like how Red used to do it. So while yes, the body itself is $1,500 more, at least the mount on here already comes with the mount, where you have to actually pay extra to get the mount for the Infinity cameras. So the cost, while yes, you can, the cost is not just $1,500 more. It does cost significantly less to get this camera. Significantly less to get this camera up and running versus a Infinity Mavic S35 Mark II. But the image is great. The image is great. So no knock for that. G&K says the camera problem is not what it is, but what it isn't. I still may pick one up, but definitely don't need this. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look at and see if you are, if this is something that fits your workflow. Does it make sense? Now, these aren't cameras that you just do for fun and hobby. That's not what these aren't hobby cameras. These are cameras that people use professionally for paid gigs and things like that. That's what this camera's for. That's what the Kinfinity Mavic Edge and the Kinfinity Mavic S35 camera is for. The Ursa cameras, that's what all these cameras are for. They're designed for working filmmakers. So you really got to be able to commit to it. But I totally get what you said. So, all right, let me, because I gotta start running soon because I know these comments are just coming in. Thank you guys again for like staying with this stream, man. We've been going. How long we been running? We have been going for over 2 hours. Wow, and 49 of y'all are still here. Why? Let's see here. I'm gonna just. Let's see. New camera looks good. Would have appreciated a smaller design, but overall price-wise, it's great as always. Yep. And the 13 stops is fine. It's not like you can really tell the difference anyway. And that's sort of the point I'm trying to make here with this, is that this camera is really, this camera, like that's also the point I'm trying to make. If you're trying to be either a DP or you're trying to be a person that is working professionally, if you know how to light, if you know how to work with cameras properly, like the 13 stops is not a big deal. I've been able to get unbelievable shots off the original Pocket 4K, the Micro Four Thirds one, and the 6K one gave better. It's burned out. You could just like, here's the thing: you're converting all this dynamic range. You're converting it to and you're ultimately converting it into about 7 to 9 stops for display. So really, unless you are working fully in a full HD, unless you're working in a full-on HDR workflow, when it's all said and done, when you grade it and perfect, as long as you don't clip your blacks and clip your whites, if you don't clip your blacks or your whites, you don't notice the difference. So I agree with you on that one, man. Okay, it looks like you guys are still arguing. Q Vision says, but it's competing with Red and Sony. We need at least 15, 16 stops. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. You just need to make a good quality camera. Make a good sensor. Good DPs will make great images regardless of the number. You don't need at least 15 or 16 stops. You just need to have a good image. So Edward, hey, thank you for joining, man. I'm a little late. Was there mention of a price drop of the original 6K or 6K Pro? There was no mention of that. I'm sure that there eventually will, but as far as I know, there hasn't been a mention of that. XH2S is measured 12.8 stars. Image test looks pretty nasty, and shadows are over sharpened and no chroma detail tonality. All right, but look, once you get to 12 points, to me, I get people care about the exact number, but I mean, once you get 12.8, 12.9, you're essentially 13 stops, essentially. But again, I'm not focusing on the number. I care about the quality of the dynamic range, not the number. Jesse, so his response, just too old of a sensor. The dynamic range will be okay. The rolling shutter will be horrific. First of all, we don't know if this is the same sensor. I know Dennis is, I don't question Dennis's education of people, Dennis, in terms of that. We don't know for sure. Let's be clear. Just like we all assumed that the Kinfinity Mavic Edge S35 had the same sensor that was in the Fujifilm X-H2S, but when people actually got it in their hands, that is not the case. That wasn't the case. The rolling shutter was not on par of the Mavic Edge the Mavic S35 Mark II. It was not on par with. It's not bad. I will say this: it's not bad. It's not horrible. It's not horrible, but it's solid. It reaches the standard. I think it was like 15 milliseconds, which is it's solid. It's solid. But yeah. in terms of the roll shutter, we don't know for sure just yet if that's the case. Robert's going, preach. It's all about how the image behaves as it approaches the white point, not about how far that is from the black point. Exactly. Yeah. If you know your camera and you know how to light and you know how to work with the camera, the dynamic range doesn't mean anything. I will tell you this right now. Give me an 11-stop camera that has a great highlight roll-off. I will smoke anybody. I will say this with confidence. I will smoke anybody with an Alexa or a Red camera that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Excuse my French. But I will smoke anybody. Give me an 11-stop camera and I'll smoke anybody who doesn't know how to work a Red camera. Let's so the new 6K will be used by people like me to film docs to remote locations for producers who can't afford Red. Their tools. This will be easy to crank out beautiful anamorphic docs. I agree. I think honestly this is going to be the camera. I think Kinfinity will. I think also Kinfinity, and I also think Zcam, because I think those three cameras are going to be the cameras now for anamorphic shooting, for the affordable anamorphic shooting options. In terms of that, but the Kinfinity and the Blackmagic just slightly outperform, and the Kinfinity will go top dog because that can shoot high frame rates and that can shoot double, at the very least, double speed in full open gate. So, C70, anyone? Don't know exactly what that is, but let me see. Let me see if the C70 is a great camera, bad screen hinge and low screen brightness, no SDI. So, agree with you, Kingdom. 2 out of the 3. The hinge is bad. The hinge is bad, but look, I've had it for over 2 years. The hinge has never broken on me. It's never even came close to loosing. If you're careful, if you handle your shit with care, it's fine. It works. And I also agree, the lack of an SDI was a big miss. I really wish they had done that. I don't agree with you on the low screen brightness. I can crank that brightness to the max, and I can see it with sun directly beaming on me, and I can see perfectly clear outside. But then again, that's just me, and I know I have 20/20 visions. I know people that don't have the vision that I have will argue with me, so that I can probably understand. But I agree, this new Blackmagic camera is very powerful for sure, and cheap enough to throw around would be much. Yep, all right. Yeah, 36 frames per second max means getting readout speeds around 26 milliseconds. Jello City. Again, let's see. Let's see. We don't know for sure. Most likely you're right, but that just means, hey, plan your shots. If you're really interested in getting this camera, if you're looking, hey, I'm going to get this camera, know the limitations, but just know you probably have to plan your shots, probably be a little bit more staged. You're not going to be doing a lot of action stuff. Okay, so untrue in the rigging. I got a cage and a V-mount adapter from Small Rig, and that's it. For V-mount, I have a small rig, and it's more than enough. YouTubers kill me with that BS. But you just proved my point. You kind of proved my point. When I was talking about the rigging of the pocket camera, I'm talking about like the C70. I can shoot the C70 straight out of the camera. I can shoot the camera straight out of the camera with no other rigging. Now I have additional rigging because I shoot with cinema glass. So I got a rig set up to work with a wireless follow focus system. But I don't need it if I have I don't need it if I have still glass. Same with the G86. I don't need to rig this up. I can for certain situations that make it better, but you saying I got a cage and a V-mount adapter and a small rig from Small Rig, and that's it. But you're proving my point. My point was that you still need to rig it up. That may be true for you. But again, that's not necessarily true for everybody's shooting scenario. So again, I guess we'll just agree to disagree. All right, so so a lot of the time. So Morani, I just get to thank you for the SDI. Yeah, give me SDI. Totally agree. Which, like I said, I would. So yeah, I would swap it for the SDI. So I guess this is the people answering. Yes, SDI. Kingdom says I have shot footages. I have footages I've shot from pro sports docs with this method. Most docs are interviews and then B-roll. Interviews are stationary for the most part, so you don't need a lot of rigging. That may be true, but I just know for all the people that I know that work with the pocket cameras, they don't work like that. They have them rigged out. Majority of people that own the pocket cinema camera, and everybody that I know owns a pocket cinema camera, they all have them rigged out. Nobody uses it just with the internal batteries because nobody wants to run the risk of filming a camera, especially since the internal battery, the monitor of the internal battery is so inconsistent. At least that's the history of it. Maybe they've changed it in time, but it's been but it was always very, very inconsistent. And if it's worked for you, man, I'm happy. But I can tell you, everybody that I have came across that has owned a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera and use it, they all rig it out. Again, this is from my experience from several dozens of Pocket Cinema camera users. They all rig them out. So let me. Let's see. I think so. Let me try to see if I can catch down. If there's anything else. The new 6K sensor will have more latitude as the Venice 2, like the S already with highlight recovery. The Venice 2 measures below the S52X with highlight recovery and dynamic range, even though it uses quite a bit of noise reduction. So I guess what Dennis is saying is that it's going to have, if you use highlight recovery, it's going to produce this roughly the same amount of signal to noise ratio. Again, I know we all like to look at signal to noise ratios, but I wish a lot of people more people would just get out of a lab. The numbers don't really matter. And it's one of the things that has always bothered me with, especially how the way YouTube has gone, is that the number on the dynamic range is not as important as just how the dynamic range handles the tops, the extremes, and how do you work with that. So, again, but I hear you. I definitely hear you, man. But and also let's be clear, highlight recovery it's a cheat, but just like noise reduction is a cheat to beat those emit tests. Highlight recovery is the same way because you don't actually truly get that dynamic range. It's just using the colors that haven't clipped yet to make the image of what should be there. So, but I digress. But yeah, the number doesn't really matter. As long as you have a camera that does more than 11 stops of dynamic range, it is a high performing camera. Because again, at the end of the day, if you're converting everything to 709, you're delivering something to 7 to 9 stops. It's just about knowing the dynamic range limitation of the camera, and then using your knowledge as a filmmaker with lenses, modifiers, lights to create the scene. Because at the end, there's very, very, very few extreme scenarios where you really need to push it, where you don't have an option to do it. But one, as I mentioned before, NLEs have gotten smarter and better, so it's easier. So the raw latitude performance doesn't matter if when Italy's can clean up so much it can make it better without losing too much quality. The second thing is lights are getting less expensive and smaller. So it's easier to get a very good powerful light to if you need to get a subject lit up, it's a lot easier to do that now. So again, I think it's again I'm going on, but it's more about the dynamic range. Look, man, I'm trying to get through all these comments, but I clearly am not. So I'm getting close to them. I have a professional. My name is Brian Roberts, and my Pocket 6K was rigged. Hi, Brian. Let's see here. With highlight recovery, it should be up there with most cinema cameras and even above when it comes to usable dynamic range. Most manufacturers advertise patch range, which is misleading and nice to say. Red also uses highlight recovery and cannot be turned off. I rather have highlight than noise reduction artifacts. So no box camera for Blackmagic. No, not true. Not true. We did get a box camera. We got the return of the micro studio camera. We got the return of that. So we kind of got a box camera, kind of. All right, I've gone through the comments. I actually have to get going. This stream has been fun. It's been lively. Man, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this for sticking through me. And I think it's about time to end this stream. But this has been a fun time. Let me know. So leave comments before you go. Also, make sure to hit the like button. If you haven't hit that like button yet, hit that like so definitely YouTube knows people watch my stuff. And just let me know in your comments what are your thoughts again of the new cameras, the micro cinema camera, the new full frame camera. We finally got a full frame camera. So we got a box camera and we got a full frame camera, just not together. And also the new app from Blackmagic. I'm really curious to see. I'll try to download it and see, and maybe I'll try to make a video about it and see how it goes. But a lot to talk about here. So, but definitely let me know in the comments. I will be getting the new full frame camera, the full frame cinema camera in. It's just a matter of when. But love you guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. And hopefully you guys continue to enjoy and have a blessed day. And until next time.